says a midrash on Parshas Tetzaveh, right in the beginning, V'yikro elecho shemen zayizoch. HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded Moshe Rabbeinu, he should command the Bnei Yisrael, they should take pure oil to light the menorah. And the Medrash says on that, Midrash Rabo, the Posuk, Zayis Ranon Yefei Peri Toyach. Zayis Ranon, an olive, a green olive, Yefei Peri Toyach, which is a beautiful fruit. So, the Medrash explains, what does it mean? The olive is a beautiful fruit. It's not a beautiful fruit, an olive. It might be tasty after it has been pickled. But before, it's impossible to eat. It's bitter. Even if you cook it, won't lose its bitterness. The only way you can eat it is by putting it in salt water and leave it a long time there. So what is its beauty? Besides, we are not talking about the taste of the olive, we are talking about the appearance. Yefei peri toyach, a fruit which has got a beautiful appearance. It's not beautiful. An olive, beautiful. A peach is more beautiful than an olive. An orange, even an apple. So the Midrash explains that the beauty of the olive is in its oil. The value of the olive is because the olive brings oil to light the menorah. And the menorah is a symbol for the Torah. Kiner mitzvah v'Torah oir. The same as we say about the wine. The Zohar says, why do we make Kiddush on wine? We would say, we make Kiddush on wine because wine, because wine makes the heart joyful. That's why we make Kiddush on wine. The Zohar doesn't say that. The Zohar says, we make Kiddush on wine because the Torah is compared to wine. Because Yayin is a symbol of the Torah. That's why you make Kiddush on wine. Interesting. The same goes for the Zayis. The Zayis is a beautiful fruit, not because it's beautiful on its own, but because from this olive we are going to squeeze out the oil, the shemen Zayis zoch, with which we are going to light the menorah. And the menorah is Torah. Kiner mitzvah v'Torah oir. And then the Medrash goes on to say a beautiful moshel about the Torah which is light. A moshel to a person who goes out in the fields without a light at night. And he doesn't take a light with him. And the night is completely dark. There is not even the moon to light him the way. So, when there is a rock on his path, he hits his head on it, and he gets wounded. He might get killed. He might fall in a big hole, in a raven. Why? Because he's in darkness, and he doesn't have a light to show him the way. How can he protect himself? So is a person who is without Torah. As the Chofetz Chaim used to say, and that I heard from Rav Chaikin Shlite, and he heard it from the Chofetz Chaim himself. I remember as a young bocher, straight after the war, 1947, I heard it from Rav Chaikin, and he said it word by word. Ohne Teure is finster und bitter verewig. Ohne Teure. Without Teure, it's dark and it's bitter forever. And he explained every word he said. Without Teure, it's finster, it's dark. Sometimes it's dark, but it's not bitter. You're in the dark, you take a sweet, put it into your mouth, and go to sleep. Sometimes it's dark, it's not bitter. Sometimes it's bitter, but it's not dark. You eat something bitter. All right, but you've got light. But here it's finster and bitter. And sometimes it's finster and bitter, but you know it's going to pass. And then the light is going to come. And sweetness also with it. But here, it's finster and bitter verewig, forever. I remember Rav Chaikin Shlite, I used to analyze every word, repeat it. You could hear the Chofetz Chaim speaking. Und Teure ist finster und bitter verewig. So the Medrash says, someone who doesn't have Teure is in darkness. And his life, he goes in his life in Olam Hazeh, in this world, in complete, total darkness. And he suffers. And he doesn't know from what he suffers. He doesn't know himself from what he suffers. Why? Because he hits his head and he falls in a grub, in a pit. He doesn't even know in what he has fallen. As the Pasuk says, Derech Reshoyim ko'afelo. The way of the Reshoyim is like the darkness. Lo yedu b'mei koshelu. They will not know with what they fall, in what they fall. That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing. They don't know from what they suffer. And we also sometimes, we don't know from what we suffer. We suffer and we don't know from what we suffer. I'm not referring now to someone who's got a pain and he doesn't know what kind of illness he has. I'm not speaking about that also. I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking about the spiritual, the moral well-being. When we are lacking joy in life, we are suffering, and we don't know from what we are suffering. What is missing us? What are we missing? We are missing a light. As the Pasuk says in Tehillim, Ne'er leragli devorecho, says David HaMelech, your word is a ne'er, is a lamp for my feet, to guide my steps. Ne'er leragli devorecho, ve'oyer linsivosi, and it's a light for my way. The Torah is a light. The Medrash goes on and says, but there is a person who goes in the darkness and he has a light to light his way. He has got a torch. So he shines his torch. He sees a rock looming in front of him. He goes around it. He avoids it. He sees a pit, a huge abyss, a huge raven, big hole in front of his steps. He finds another way. He finds another way. Why? Because he's got a light. So is the person who has got Torah, who is Oisek ba Torah. He has got a light. And he knows where are the obstacles on his path, and he avoids it. He avoids them. He knows exactly what to avoid, what to do, and what not to do. That's the Medrash. That's a beautiful thing. Oh. Zayis ranon yefe prisoyach. The most beautiful fruit that can be in the world. That's the olive. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Do we have that light or not? We think about ourselves as observant Jews. We keep Shulchan Aruch. We have Torah. Baruch Hashem, we have Torah. We are from Jews, Orthodox. So how is that we fall through? How is that we are nichsholim? We fall and we do averos. How is that? Now don't tell me, no, we don't do averos. We're all right, we don't do anything from it, you're just suspicious, choshed b'ksherim. I'll tell you what. I never made an inquest about your life, but I know what's happening by me. And as Rabbi Yisrael Salanter said, from my heart, which is as big as a fist, I know the whole world. From my own behavior, I realize, later, that's what's happening by others as well. More or less, roughly. It doesn't mean just because we know that there is such a din in the Shulchan Aruch that we respect it and we observe it every day. Lashon Hara, for example. Lashon Hara. Everybody knows it's forbidden. How many lavim and how many mitzvahs haseh and how many arurim and lavim. Everybody knows. Nowadays they've even got this on papers, on posters, yeah. On the telephone you find it. Everywhere. But it doesn't stop people speaking Lashon Hara. So what is lacking there? Do we have the light or don't we have it? The answer is we don't have it. Because if we would have it, we wouldn't fall into the hole. If we fall into the hole, that means we don't have the light. Push it. There's no other way. If we knock our head on the rock, get a big bump, why did you knock your head on the wall, on the rock? Didn't you see the rock? Didn't you see the wall? He didn't see it. Why? He doesn't have a light. But he knows. He knows it's also to speak Lashon Hara. Yeah. To know is not enough. What else is there then, besides knowing? Oh, and that's the point I want to arrive to. There is a Rabbeinu Yoine in Sha'ar Tshuva, Sha'ar Shlishi, in the beginning of the third gate of Sha'ar Tshuva. It's gates. Sha'ar Rishon, Sha'ar Sheni, Sha'ar Shlishi. In the beginning of Sha'ar Shlishi, the Rabbeinu Yoine quotes a pasuk in Mishle. Chochma u'musar le'hovin. To understand, Chochma, knowledge, u'musar. Musar, moral, let's Musar. We are going to explain. He's going to explain that. You need two things. You need Chochma, knowledge, and you need Musar. So he explains. Chochma refers to the knowledge of the Torah, to the knowledge of the dinim. You have to know the dinim, dinei Shabbos, dinei Kashrus, all the dinim, in order to avoid doing what is forbidden. But then you need also, that is Chochma, you need also Musar there too. Added to that, you need Musar. And what is Musar? He explains, Musar is to know the punishment on the Aveire exactly what kind of punishment, and also to remind himself of it constantly. That is called Musar, he says. So two things he says: to know the punishment on the Aveire, and to remind himself constantly. Why? Because if he doesn't remember, he'll still do it. If he doesn't remember. If someone has got, chas v'shalom, a bottle of poison in the house, and he doesn't write poison, big letters, with a skull and bones, then it's dangerous. And even then, I don't know. He might, in his sleep, chas v'shalom, he should lock it. If he has got poison, he should lock it with a key. And if he doesn't write, say, I'll remember, no, this bottle is like this and like that, there's poison in it. I'll remember it's poison. It's a shtus. It's a stupid thing, that. You have to have something to remind you constantly that is poison. So it is with Musar. Chochma u Musar lehovi. That's what the Rabbeinu Yonah. So he goes on by explaining every Aveire, what kind of punishment it has got. There is Chai Malkus, there is Chai Misois, and all kinds, Krisus. All part of his Sefer of Sharet Tshuva is devoted to explain exactly what kind of punishment, what kind of oynesh there is on each Aveir. But the interesting word he says is to remember and constantly, and to reprimand himself. Now let us quote a pasuk in Tehillim. Everybody knows this pasuk. Ki ner mitzvah v'toiro oir v'derech chayim toichechos musar. That means the mitzvah is a lamp, the Torah is the light, and the derech chayim and the way of life is toichechos musar, reprimands of musar. Now, what does David HaMelech want to add derech chayim toichechos musar? He already said everything. Ner mitzvah v'toiro oir. What is more? How do you gain access to Olam Habo? By mitzvahs, Torah mitzvahs, ma'asim tovim. That's all. Why does David HaMelech have to add the derech chayim, and here he refers to derech chayim, the way of life means to the way of life to Olam Habo, as the Midrash says openly. But David HaMelech asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, show me the way to Olam Habo. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered him, the derech chayim toichechos musar. The way of chayim nitzchim, of the everlasting life, is toichechos musar. Reprimands of Musar. Why do you need reprimands of Musar? You have got Torah, you've got Oir, you've got Neir and Oir, you've got Torah, Maisim Tovim. What else do you need? Why do you need Musar for? The answer is, because if you don't have the Toichas Musar, according to the Rabbeinu Yonah, that's what he explains. If you don't have the Toichas Musar, you don't have the Oir, you don't have the light. You think you have it. Of course Torah is light. But you might have it and not use it, the light. Someone has got a torch in his pocket. If he doesn't use it, doesn't flick it open. So, what's use is there to have a torch in your pocket? You still bump his head on the trees, on the walls. So what do you need? Toichechos Musar, reprimands of Musar. Once they found Rabbi Yisrael Salanter. I remember the first time I heard that story was from Moshe Schwab, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, from Mashgiach of Gateshead. And then it's written in the Tnuas HaMusar, in the life story of Rabbi Yisrael Salanter. Once they found Rabbi Yisrael Salanter with a candle burning on the table, and he was learning Musar on Gehenna. And he approached his finger to the light of the candle until he burnt a bit, the tip of his finger. And he shouted with pain, and he said, "It's burning, don't you see, Yisrael? It's burning, the fire. Gehenna will burn 60 more times than that." So why did he need to learn Musar on Gehenna? Does he need a candle? Why does he need a candle? To remember. There's two ways to remember. To remember like that, with your intellect, and to remember with your feelings. That's what one needs. Because sof kol sof, the behavior of a person is not directed with his intellect. The behavior of a person is directed with his feelings, with his sentiments. He likes something. What do you want? I like it. What can I do? I know it's not right, but I like it. So what is ruling a person? His feeling or his knowledge? His feeling. In order to counteract your feeling, you need a feeling, another feeling. That's why Rabbi Yisroel, when he learned Musar, he helped himself with his feeling as well. And it's written in the story, in the life story of the Gedolei Musar, that when Rabbi Yisroel learned Musar, anybody who came into the Beis HaMusar, in the house where he was studying Musar, as soon as they came into the room, they bursted crying. That was the learning Musar of Rabbi Yisroel, that anybody who came into the room bursted out crying. There was so much feeling. There was so much feeling in his learning Musar. Derech Chaim, Torchos Musar. That is a light. Then you have a light. Then you have a light. Not before that. Until then, you don't have a light. You need a light. A real light. That warms, that lights, that shows the way. If you don't, then you don't have the light. We may have Torah, but no light. And that's why this midrash I quoted to you about the moshel of a person who is in darkness without a light ends up by saying, "Vehu yomus beli musar." That person who has no Torah, who has no light, he will die without musar. Ve'en musar elo divrei Torah. And the musar refers to Torah, as it says in Mishle, "Achzik bemusar al teref." Hold on musar, do not weaken your grasp on it. Like the Moshel the Medrash gives us about someone fell from a boat into the sea. The captain of the boat threw him a buoy, and he told him, grasp it well, hold it well. As long as you hold it, you are saved. If you leave it 1 second, you drown. So the Medrash says about Achazek bemusar al teref. Hold on musar. Do not lose your grasp. That is your life buoy in this wild sea. That's what the Medrash ends up. So what do we see from the end of the Medrash? That we are referring to Torah of Musar. When Musar elo Torah, achzek bemusar. Torah without Musar is not Torah. It's not enough to protect us, to show us the way. We need Torah chos Musar. That's why the Rabbi Yisroel wanted in every town there should be a house of study of Musar, specially dedicated for Musar. And he even said even women should learn Musar. Women are potter from Torah, but they are not potter from Musar. Because without Musar they have no Yiras Hashem, and Yiras Hashem women are mechuyev. It's a mitzvah saseh shelo azman grome. It's a mitzvah saseh which is not limited by time, Yiras Shomayim. So women are as much obliged to get Yiras Shomayim as much as men. So they are as much obliged to learn Musar as men, because as much as men, women also, if they do not have Torah chos Musar, they will not have Yiras Hashem and Yiras Chet. And they won't be stopped from doing Averos. No matter what afrum they are. They might eat matzah shmure, have whatever hummus they will do. That doesn't mean they will not speak Lashon Hara. And that doesn't mean they will not do other Averos. If you don't have the light, you don't have it, that's all. There's no kunz. There's no two ways about it. Either you have a light or you don't have it. What will show us if we have a light? If we avoid doing things which which are Averos. And also, we can also see from our own, if we are suffering. There is a pasuk, Or Zoru ala Tzadik, which we say on the night of Kol Nidre, when we take out the Sefer Torah from the urn, we say this pasuk, Or Zoru ala Tzadik, Velishray lehev Simcha. And we repeat it until we have made the whole circle, the Rov, the Shliach Tzibur, the Gaboy, all the Sefer Torah of the Munach Kodesh. Very impressive. Or Zoru ala Tzadik, Velishray lehev Simcha. Now what does that mean? Velishray lehev Simcha. Those who have got a straight heart, not a crooked heart. Those who have a straight heart, they have joy. Those who don't have a straight heart, they have got sadness in their heart. Because we know in the Torah, from a positive we can learn a negative. Velishray lehev Simcha, that's the positive. Those who have got a straight heart, they've got joy. So we deduce from that, those who don't have a straight heart, they do not have joy. Or you might say, those who do not have joy, do not have a straight heart. Now what does that mean? Those who have got a straight heart and those who have got a crooked heart. There is a pasuk in Mishlei, Okuv alev mikoil ve'onushu mi yedoenu. Okoiv alev mikoil. Okoiv means, with an ayin, means crooked. Le'akev, in Ivrit, means to pass a car. Le'akev, or le'akev. Okoiv means crooked. Okoiv alev mikoil. What Shlomo HaMelech says, the heart is the most crooked thing in the world. He doesn't mince his words. The heart of the man is the most crooked thing there is in the world. And it's hopeless. Who knows the end of the crookedness of a heart of a man? Take, for example, Saddam Hussein in Mashmo v'zichro. He starts again. How crooked can he be? No one knows how crooked he can be. Who can show me the picture of inside of his heart, of that man? To show me all the crookedness there is there. No one will know. It's bottomless. The heart of a Rosh is the most crooked thing in the world. Who knows the end of this crookedness? And there is a Gemara in Maseches Brochos, Lo nivreu re'emim, elo lefashet o akmimus shebalev. I translate. The thunderclaps have been created by Hashem for the sole purpose to straighten out the crookedness of the heart. Now, what does that mean? Thunderclap. Lightning, we say in the pasuk, Brokim la motor oso. We say the pasuk in the Psuke de Zimra, I think, on Shabbos morning. HaKadosh Baruch created the lightning for the rain. We know lightning is a good thing for the rain. It makes the field fertile. It fertilizes the fields. It brings ozone into the field. And the field needs ozone to grow things. So lightning, we need lightning. But thunder, what do we need it for? HaKadosh Baruch Hu could have created the lightning without thunder. Silent lightning, like in summer. Sometimes heat lightning. Why do you need the thunderclap? Chazal say, the thunderclap, you need it so that people should lose their crookedness. For 1 second, for 1.5 seconds, they get a good shake, a good shock. And then they make a broche. Shekocho gvurosoi mole oilo. His koyach and his gvura fill the world. That is a straight heart. Shekocho ugvurosoi mole oilo. when someone realizes that Shekoicho Gvuroso Imole Oilom, that who is the big boss, Hakol Bidei Shomai, that I cannot lift a little finger without the help of Hashem. Shehu also ve'oise v'yase l'chol ha'ma'asim. I cannot say a word without the help of Hashem. I cannot see without His help. I cannot breathe without His help. Shekoicho gvuroso mole oilom, absolutely. Nothing is without His. He does everything. Only one thing He doesn't do and He cannot do and will not do for us. That's the choice. To make the right decision. That's all. To make the right decision. That's all. But even further, after I made the right decision, to allow me to achieve it, I will not be able to make a step without the help of Hashem. Only Yirah Shomayim, only the right decision. Just to choose what I want to choose. That is not Bidei Shomayim. The rest is Bidei Shomayim. That's the purpose of the thunderclap. And the thunderclap, straight when it falls about 500 yards from here. Oh, in that half second, you forget everything. You forget everything. You're under shock treatment. What? Who is the boss here? Here, who is the boss? Now, with all the technology, when there is a big fog, all the planes are stranded. A few weeks ago, there was in Charles de Gaulle in Paris. All the planes were grounded. People were coming with complaints to the desk, the hostess. I have to be at that time. I've got this to do and that. And we do not make the fog. But you have got machines, you've got electronic, not all the planes are equipped with it, and so on and so on. We do not make the fog. Now, because Baruch shows who is the boss. Rabois machashovo belev ish, v'atzas Hashem hisokum. Man proposes, I would say in French, there's a proverb, l'homme propose, Dieu dispose. I don't know how you say in English. And Hashem disposes. That is the crookedness. We think we can help. We think we can do. We worry what I'm going to do. What is worry? Worry is when we think we can do something. We cannot do a thing. One thing we can do. Yirah Shomayim. To daven, to do tshuva, to do the right choice. That's what we should worry about. Like the story about a chassid who saw his friend, he was worrying, said, listen, you, if you are worrying about Torah, I give you a bracha, you should worry even more. If you worry about money, Rabbi Shalom should take away your worries from you. So what are we worried about? Usually we are not worried about Torah. Usually we worry about money. We worry about health. We do not worry about Torah. If we would worry about Torah, that would be a very, very good thing. That would propulse us, push us to the tshuva and become better. Like he said to his friend, I give you a bracha, you should become more worried. We do not worry about that. We worry about gashmias, material things. So here it comes, the thunderclap, and it teaches us, straight your heart out. Straight your heart out. Like an iron, you take an iron on a creased shirt, and you smooth it. It becomes so smooth, so glad, so soft. The heart can become also like that. With what? With a thunderclap. A thunderclap. Now there are many thunderclaps. There's a thunderclap which comes from the clouds, and that thunderclap in in life. In life. Sometimes HaKadosh Baruch shakes us with a thunderclap to remind us where we are, where we stand, where we are heading to. Me'ayin boso, from where you come, ולאן אתה הולך, and where you go, ולפני מי אתה עושה ליתן דין וחשבון. That is also to straighten the heart. That is one example of crookedness, the lack of emunah. But there are different crookedness. Many, as we said before, the crookedness of the heart is endless. We might talk endlessly about the crookedness of the heart. But let us, one other point, and if we straighten out that one as well, we have already two things with which to go. Veliishre Simcha. We should have joy with a straightened heart. And the second thing is Tikkun Midos, to mend our traits of character. The Midos Rois, the bad traits of character, is a crookedness of the heart, and it makes people suffer. I'll speak about the strongest of all. That is the desire of covet, of honor. People are not aware of this type, of this desire. People are aware of other desires, other types like money, food, physical lusts. But people are not aware of the desire of covet. Let us say like this. The desire of covet is the wanting to be respected and well looked upon by people surrounding us. We do not realize how much it takes a place in our head, what people will think, how people will react. And we do not realize that we are slaves. We are slaves of the public opinion. Now we said last time already that it is not altogether bad, this. But it's not altogether good. One is to make the part of the good and the part of the bad. If the desire to be respected is a boost for our Yiddishkeit, a protection, then we say, Boishes ponim legan Eden. Of course one has to be ashamed of what people will say and how they will speak and how they will react and how they look upon him. Of course, one has to have self-respect in that sense. But if the desire of covet will stop us from doing a mitzvah or will put us into depression, we'll just think about the word someone told me, an insult, and that will throw me into a black depression. Because that person insulted me or behaved in a way which was disrespectful towards me, then one has to take away this crookedness. Another. Complete humility. But anyway, we have to remember that a light of the Torah, that is two things. As we said in the beginning, the light of the Torah is to make us avoid the pitfalls. And now we say the light of the Torah is to light our lives to know from what we are suffering. It's not just Aveirus. There is also Midas Rois. Laziness. How much we suffer from laziness. When people can't get up the stairs to get something, and they say, I have to get upstairs. What is it? What is it? Or when people don't want to get up from bed, not because they are ill or something or tired. We also are not aware of that. We are not aware that we have a midah which is called atzlus. Who speaks about it? Who tries to perfect himself in Atzlus? No one speaks about that. And we do not realize how much we suffer from it, from laziness. Laziness is not just stopping us from doing things. It also makes us suffer. Because when we do things, we sigh and we say, oh, it's far, oh, it's hard, I'm tired. And instead of doing it with zrizus and with joy. Anyway, you have to do it. So better do it with joy and with impressment than always sighing and say, and schlepping the feet to do it. Take Atzlus. Conquer the heart. Velishre. Take taiva. Sweets, or those who smoke. They become slaves of their bulimia, how do you say? Bulimistic. Those who are bulimistic, they cannot stop eating. Or sweets, or alcohol, chas v'sholom, or smoking. What is it? I cannot get away from it. I like it. I cannot do without it. Have you tried to break your taiva? Have you tried once? Now, those who have experienced to break away from a bad habit, let's say, for example, drinking coffee is also an habit. I know, for example, when it's Dr. Ebbing who told us that you have to, before a fast, you have to avoid drinking coffee 10 days before. So I was always fasting very bad. Terrible. I was always, before there came a tinnitus, I was worrying long before, how am I going to fast on Yom Kippur? Oh, yes, I remember some Yom Kippurs were so hard to go through. Then once I tried that. I tried 10 days before, no coffee. Baruch Hashem. I didn't feel the tinnitus, like a feather. Like a feather. It's good to let people know that. Yes, but you know what? After the tinnitus, I start with 1 cup of coffee in the morning. Especially the French coffee, which is very strong. You make it from ground coffee, you know. Oh, and then it gives you a boost. Why? Because you feel you are a bit weak. To give you zrizus. Instead of having zrizus from having zrizus. Come on, shake yourself. No, he needs a coffee. And then he becomes a slave of the coffee. 1 cup, and a 2nd cup, and a 3rd cup, and a 4th cup. Every time he needs to make an effort to give a shear, a cup of coffee beforehand. And one doesn't realize that breaking a taiva, breaking an habit. I remember in those times when I stayed without coffee for 10 days before the tinnitus, I felt very good. Besides, I felt very good because of the coffee. I didn't have the coffee, and the coffee makes you feel a bit nervy, jittery. But besides that, also I felt free. I'm not a slave to coffee. I want a hot drink. Take a tisane, herb tea or something. I'm not a slave. I can free myself from my slavery. Food. If someone gets free from this bulimia, then he feels, besides he feels better because he doesn't eat as much. But besides that, he feels psychologically also better because he feels a nitzochen, he feels a victory over his own taiva. And Be'emes Shlomo HaMelech said that. Shlomo HaMelech said in the pasuk, Tavo niyo te'orev lo nefesh. Rabbi Yonah quotes this pasuk. Tavo niyo, that means a broken desire becomes pleasant to the soul. If someone surmounts and breaks a desire which is not good, then it's a beautiful feeling for the soul. A person feels a feeling of victory, of freedom. He has become a ben choyr. It's a wonderful thing to experience.